Jamie Harrison. He raised a record-breaking $57 million in campaign contributions in the last quarter, the largest amount ever raised in a Senate race. Graham's yet to release his third quarter numbers, but he fell short.
And he won't take a COVID test.
And he won't take a COVID test.
But can we just congratulate Jamie right now, joining us now, the Democratic candidate running against Lindsey Graham, for his plexiglass box.
Brilliant move.
Jamie.
Way to keep yourself safe.
You are a trailblazer because now they used it in the VP debate, and that was so insanely good.
So, Jamie, the first question is this. Are you finding out on the campaign trail what I found out on the campaign trail so many years ago? That voters are turned off by politicians that try to have it both ways. That can't just tell people the truth. And Lindsey's done it with Donald Trump, trashing him as a cancer on the Republican Party. And he, of course, has done it with these Supreme Court nominations, one of which we're going to start hearing about today.
Yeah, Joe, that's exactly right. In the last Quinnipiac poll, I was plus 24 on the question of honesty. Lindsey was minus 9. And that was before the use my words against me. I mean, it's really, really sad. And this is a thing I tell the folks here in South Carolina, that they may not always agree with me on every issue, but they will always know that I will tell them the truth. I will never lie to them. And Lindsey Graham has lied from this first day. I mean, this is a guy who said he was for term limit. And now, Joe, he's been in Congress for 25 years. And even on the debate stage, when he was asked about it, he tried to say him and haw about it. You just have to be a man about it. Just stand up and say, I've changed my mind, or I'm going in a different direction. Don't try to blame Chuck Schumer or somebody else for the reason why you have gone back on your word. My grandfather always taught me a man is only as good as his word. Lindsey Graham's word isn't worth much.
So there's a lot I know. If I gave you the floor to talk about what's going wrong with Lindsey Graham's campaign, you could have quite a list, starting with the fact that he won't even take a COVID test. But what's going right about yours? Why do you think this is working and breaking through? Or is it just that Lindsey is collapsing at this point?
Well, Mika, there's a stark difference in this race. I'm talking about hope and opportunity. I'm talking about how we bring our communities together. And Lindsey's talking about division and chaos. As I'd like to say, Lindsey's trying to scare people to vote for him. I'm trying to inspire people to support me. And I'm focused like a laser on the issues that people are dealing with on a day-to-day basis here in South Carolina. He has all of this urgency to get the Supreme Court nominee through right now, but he has none of that urgency to get another COVID bill through the United States Senate. And we desperately need relief right now for COVID. We have 3,500 people in South Carolina who have died, 150,000 who've been infected, 750,000 unemployed, 400,000 who have lost their health care. And they desperately need help right now. All of these small businesses are closing and they won't open again. And instead of Lindsey urgently going to the floor of the U.S. Senate, pushing Mitch McConnell to get a bill through, and he took off most of August, and now he's trying to shepherd through the Supreme Court nominee when he said he wouldn't do this. And so that's part of the reason why he...
John Heilman's with us and has a question. John.
Hey, Jamie. I'll be, like everybody else in the political world, I've been stunned to see the incredible financial support that's flowed your way over the course of these last 3 quarters, particularly this last quarter. And it does raise a question for me, which is, given the extraordinary financial advantage you've had, obviously has been a huge factor in making this race as close as it is, but it hasn't been enough for you to pull away from Lindsey and get yourself into a position, and maybe just the nature of the state makes that impossible. So I guess I ask you the question is this: with these final 3 weeks, you got one more debate with him. What's the closing argument here? What's the way you have him on the ropes, but the question is kind of what you need to do? What's going to be the decisive argument that can put him away?
Well, John, I believe in the end of the day that old adage that all politics are local is true. That it has to be about somebody who is focused on the issues people are dealing with. Lindsey hasn't done an in-person town hall in this state in almost 3 years, but you can find him on Sean Hannity every other night. And so the folks here recognize that Lindsey Graham hasn't focused on them. 38% of our rural communities don't have any access to broadband. And those who do have broadband is slower than what you would find in Cuba and Venezuela. We have 250,000 people in the state who don't have health care because Republicans have refused to expand Medicaid. 14 of our 46 counties no OBGYNs. So at the end of the day, the question is, how has Lindsey Graham's service helped you? What has it done in your communities? And it's not very much. And I'm talking about rebuilding and revitalizing our rural communities so that, South Carolina moves from the top of the bad list to the top of the good list. And so I have concrete plans on doing that while Lindsey is doing what he's doing. He's being Mr. Relevant in Washington, D.C. I just want to be Mr. Relevant in South Carolina. That means I'm addressing the issues that people care about.
U.S. Senate candidate Jamie Harrison, thank you very much for being on the show this morning. Of course, we've reached out to Senator Lindsey Graham's campaign to schedule an appearance, but we haven't heard back yet.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.